100% mortgages are back. Are they a good idea? Well, let's roll the clock back to about 2006 when I first got started in property. At that time, there were a number of banks that were doing 100% mortgages. In fact, Northern Rock Bank, which caused the run on the banks in the first place, which triggered the credit crunch in this country. At that time, they were doing like well over, I can't remember if it's 115% or 120% mortgages, but they were doing large mortgages like that. How does that even work? So what they would do, they'd give you all the money you need for the property. Let's say it's £100,000 you need for the purchase price. They'd give you that £100,000. Then they say, here, have some more. Have some more for what? Whether you want to renovate the property, buy a new car, go on a holiday. Effectively, they were throwing money at you. And that's essentially what was happening. And they were at the beginning of the domino effect of the collapse of the financial markets at that time, because it really was irresponsible lending. So over the years, what happened shortly after that was a knee-jerk reaction. Lending got a lot more stricter. But over the last few years, what we notice is lenders are starting to get relaxed again. In terms of becoming easier to get certain type of funding. And now we're starting to see 100% mortgages again. And a couple of years ago, we had 95% mortgages, which was guaranteed by the government, where the government was providing a guarantee effectively on a portion of that debt to encourage people to go out and buy property and buy their homes. Now, 100% mortgages essentially means you are leveraged to the hilt, all the money is borrowed. There's some strict criteria around accessing one of those mortgages. But what it does mean is it allows people to get onto the property market without a deposit. But normally, if you've got no deposit and all the money is borrowed, if let's say there's a fall in the value of property prices, let's say the market falls by 5%, very plausible this year, that would mean your £100,000 property that's worth 100 today drops in value to £95,000. And if that was to happen, you'd fall into what's called negative equity, meaning that even if you were to sell your property, you owe more than the property's worth because you borrowed £100,000, but you can only able to achieve £95,000 from the sale of the property. So I think in some circumstances they can work. Personally, I'm not a big fan of highly leveraged debt in that way. I don't think it's a smart move, but I do understand in some places that it could work well. What you'll also find is this type of lending, 100% borrowing, is only available for residential purchase, i.e. purchasing a home. It's not available to investors. It's not available for buy-to-lets. Generally, buy-to-lets float around the 75% mark in terms of overall borrowing, and you have to put down a 25% deposit. Sometimes you'll find 80-85% mortgages are available as well. But as I said, 75 tends to be the norm. And some people that are very conservative will go for 60 to 65% borrowing as well, as opposed to 75%.